The actual original tax rate in the meme is 18.7%. Full-time employment, 40 hours per week, at $18.45 per hour is a gross of only $38,376 per year. The tax liability at 18.7% is $7,176.31, leaving the net take-home pay for the year at $31,199.69. That's just $2,599.97 per month. The actual tax rate on that salary in the U.S. in 2019 is, oh, wait a minute. U.S. tax rates are marginal, which means that each echelon of your pay is taxed at the rate for that echelon. So, in other words, everyone is taxed the same. You only start paying more taxes when you make more money. So let me explain. In 2019, for single filers, the income tax rate is 10% for the first $9,700 and 12% for $9,701 to $39,475. The real tax on $38,376 per year is $970, the 10% for the first $9,700, plus $3,441.12, or 12% on the remaining $28,676, for a total of $4,411.12, or an effective rate of 11.49%. That's not even half of 23%, much less even close to 29%. But wait, that's not right either. The standard deduction, which in 2019 for single filers is $12,200, reduces the taxable income from $38,376 to $26,176. Again, the first $9,700 is taxed at 10%, and the remaining $16,476 is taxed at 12%, $1,977.12. A total tax liability of $2,947.12, an effective rate of 7.68%. Now, of course, there would also be state income tax, Social Security, Medicaid, and FICA taken out as well. But as I said before, we're focusing only on federal tax for this exercise with respect to the meme's oversimplification. In order to pay an effective income tax rate of 29% in the U.S. in 2019, you have to make close to $500,000 per year. The effective tax rate on $500,000 in 2019 is 30.03% for a total of $150,193.50. In order to pay 23%, you have to make just over $204,100 for an effective tax rate of 22.85% for a total of $46,628.50. To make $200,000 in a year at $18.45 an hour, you would have to work 29.78 hours per day, 24/7, 365. Let that sink in. In order to make $200,000 in a year by working 40 hours per week each of the 52 weeks of the year, your hourly wage would have to be $96.16. The grand finale of all of this meme busting is this beautiful graph you see before you right now. So there's a lot of things going on in here, so of course I'm going to step you through them one by one. I'm going to start at the bottom at 0, 0, kind of explain what's going on here a little bit. So on my vertical axis, I have dollars, and the horizontal axis is the number of employees. And each of these squares is actually 30 by 30 pixels, so it's all to scale. So $30 increments going up, and across the bottom is one employee at a time each of the 30 pixels because each employee is responsible for 2 gallons of milk at $30 total. I used $15 a gallon as the milk price because we're coming full circle back to the world of the mean. This is as big as the program will allow me to blow this up, but that's quite all right. So back here in this mess of muddle right here with the one employee, that's due to the fact that whether the employee is Frankie or the employee is the first person that Frankie hires, is where things are like just kind of very questionable. And this is that area where Frankie needs to milk the cows themselves and have money in the bank in order to even hire an employee, and everything just kind of looks a big old mess. The red areas represent $18.45 per day. The purple areas represent $19.45 per day because I wanted to see just the minor difference that $1 a day makes. So an extra $1 a day to people who are only making $18.45 per day is pretty significant. But the difference to the profit for the company is kind of a small dent. The gold area right here, the line that goes right up the center at that 45-degree angle, that's the total gross of selling all of the milk. The green area up at the top and the lime area down at the bottom have to do with my proposal of how to implement minimum wage going forward into the future. So I'll get to that in a second. But first of all, I just wanted to point out, just for the sake of looking at this, the reddish lines, this darker red line right here that I'm underlining, that's the profit for the company when employees are making $18.45 a day. This somewhat magenta line right here delineates this area, which is the total cost of labor. So if you add this area and this red area right here together, you'll get the total of the entire chart, right? So this area here that's just slightly below, and this area here that's just slightly above, is the difference that that additional $1 an hour makes. My little experiment here, because I wanted to see what would happen if every time another employee is hired on, everybody gets a 1% raise. So this causes, the labor is this exponential curve right here. Of course, the gross stays the same. And the profit for the company is this lime arch down here. Now, of course, if everybody is getting a 1% raise every time someone new comes on board, the cost of labor rises exponentially, which gives this curve. Which means that eventually, and this ended up going off my graph because in order to make it manageable enough, I didn't have quite the space, but it's not off by too far. It's 3 squares shy. So this would go just slightly off screen, but it would eventually be that the labor is equivalent to the cost that everybody is bringing in. So basically that's the point in which, in this particular example, each employee at Frankie's Dairy is making $30 an hour. So, of course, a business doesn't want that to happen because that means there isn't a profit for Frankie. So, down here on this side of the chart, I have this region that I've labeled null, and I'll get rid of these green lines. The point at which it's no longer profitable for Frankie's Dairy is at approximately 46 employees. At 47, it's definitely below. So this green line right here is the wage that the employees are making. So even before the employees are actually making $30 an hour, I think it was already like at this region where like nobody's going to want to deal with that. So scaling back out just a tad, The optimum for the company, where they're making the most profit that they could make in this model, was at 25 and 26 employees. So 26 employees is only 10 cents more profit for the company than 25 was. So that's a very minuscule difference. So there's just this nice, and then even the difference then from 24 and then to 27 and up here, it gets very flat. You would want to have 24, but if if for some reason, I don't know, a new family moves into the village and they have 3 able-bodied workers, you could conceivably hire their entire family and it doesn't make a dent for the business all of that much. So one thing that I wanted to point out, bringing McDonald's back into the picture here a little bit, is that when I'm saying that every time a new employee is hired, that everyone in the company gets a raise of 1%, I don't mean the entire company. So for a multi-location company like McDonald's, it would be each individual store would operate under this model. And basically it just requires then that the wage follows the size of the workforce that is able to produce a profitable experience for the company. So in this, even if you were paying like this, it's still better for Frankie's Dairy to employ 26 people. That's the best case scenario. So, but even back here, if they only have 16 employees and they're making approximately $90 to $120, I know that line isn't straight. They're still doing much better than individual employees are. So if you took this at a scale of something like a McDonald's restaurant, it would force you to kind of think, would it be better? Do you really need another employee? Or is it possible to just give certain employees a couple more hours every week? So most people don't want to only work 20 hours a week. Here in Hawaii, where after 20 hours a week of employment, the employer is required to provide medical insurance to the employees, that a lot of companies, and especially these nationwide retailers and restaurants, like to employ people at 19 hours a week so that they can avoid paying for health insurance. But the problem is that nobody actually wants to work 19 hours a week. I think if you give people working 19 hours a week the option to work an extra hour every day and hit 24 hours a week, they would jump at the opportunity. This would just kind of make some of these companies that are predominantly employing people part-time for minimum wage. And sometimes even if you were, so when I worked hotel housekeeping, we worked 40 hours a week. But if it was more profitable for you to just pay overtime to a couple of your better employees each week, as opposed to hiring an entire other person, I'm sure those people would welcome that little extra cash. And it also gives this opportunity to reward the good employees that want to work more. It's kind of an incentive to give them more hours instead of hiring an entire other body. A lot of these jobs have a very high onboarding cost and really high turnover. So this would be, like I said, an incentive to make the employees that were sticking around and were good at their jobs happier in their jobs and therefore more productive. So that basically concludes my whole meme busting, and hopefully everyone has gotten a better understanding of how wage and profits and everything works with each other and how your income taxes, at least at the federal income level, work. If you want to investigate this further, I feel like I've given you sufficient tools and abilities to go out and do that for yourself. But hopefully for now too, you see how easy it is for people to generate a seemingly plausible scenario in order to push an agenda that isn't even exactly correct. And you'll scrutinize the things that you see on social media with a little bit more of a deeper and more skeptical lens moving forward in the future, and we can stop spreading propaganda, actually get to the truth. It'll help everybody get along a lot better, and we'll all have a much better time on the face of this earth if we can just stop trying to hurt each other